Facebook is one of the largest tech companies today with a valuation of $1.2 trillion. And obviously, it has a global presence with 315 million users in India alone. But what you might find surprising is that when Facebook started 20 years ago in February 2004, things were quite different. Mark Zuckerberg started Facebook as thefacebook.com when he was at Harvard University, and it was initially created as an exclusive network of just Harvard students. You could only join Facebook with a Harvard email ID. The Facebook.com became extremely popular in Harvard within a few weeks, but Zuckerberg was cautious not to expand it too quickly. Instead of immediately opening it up to everyone, Zuckerberg expanded to just a handful of Ivy League universities, including Columbia, Yale, Stanford, and MIT, thereby creating an exclusive network of college students. And it wasn't until September 2006, more than 2.5 years after launching, that Facebook opened its door to the general public, where anyone over 13 could create an account. But why did he do this? Well, he was unknowingly applying a business concept called the Beachhead Strategy. In military invasions, when a force is invading by sea, it aims to secure a single area or beach before advancing ahead, and it focuses its resources on establishing a firm foothold which then acts as its base. In business, a company following this strategy focuses on capturing a small market segment before moving on to larger markets. What this approach does is that it allows a business to establish a strong foothold, learn from its initial customers, and improve its product or service before tackling broader markets. So this strong foundation was extremely crucial in making Facebook what it is today. And in the fast-paced startup ecosystem, where VC money and scaling at breakneck speeds is the name of the game, there is one company that has followed the same beachhead strategy to turn into a $13 billion giant. And that company is Grammarly. For those of you who are unaware, Grammarly is a digital writing assistance tool. Everyone wants to come across as an expert in English, but a vast majority of people struggle with grammar and communication. This is where Grammarly comes in. It is a magical tool that identifies and corrects your mistakes in grammar, spelling, punctuation, and more. Sounds simple yet elegant, right? Well, this simple tool is currently valued at over $13 billion with virtually no competition in sight. And what's even more impressive is that until its first and most recent round of funding in 2021, it had never raised a single penny ever since it was launched in 2009. And it has always been profitable. So how did Grammarly get here? Well, that story begins back in 2009 with its founders Alex and Max. At this time, the founders had just sold their previous software named My Dropbox. It was a plagiarism detector that they had created back in 2002 and expanded into 800 universities by 2007, and it was being used by around 2 million students. This was when Alex and Max realized that it was as good as it could get, and they decided to sell it off altogether. And now, they wanted to solve a problem that affects a much larger market than My Dropbox ever did, known as the English complex. Everyone struggles with their grammar and communication skills and wants to come off as an expert. But English is a complex language with hundreds of complicated rules that even native speakers find challenging to master. Not only can poor grammar and communication lead to poor marks in school or college, but it can also affect how you are perceived at your workplace, giving rise to an inferiority complex. And to solve this problem, the founders came up with Grammarly, a software with a very simple goal, which was to help people write better. But it was not easy. To create and grow a software that could accurately correct people's English, the founders needed funding to help with research and updates. But instead of looking for external funding, they decided to capitalize on the single biggest resource that they already had, which was their network. If you made it this far, please subscribe to my channel. I promise my content will add value for you. Moving on. Recall that their previous software, My Dropbox, was being used by 2 million students across 800 universities. So they decided to use their existing contacts and connections in these universities and started marketing Grammarly directly to their students as a paid tool. And it was an absolute success. Almost all students struggle with getting a grammar check on their write-ups. And after spending hours preparing and writing, the last thing they wanted was to lose marks because of grammatical errors or mistakes. So by 2011, Grammarly managed to grow its product to 300,000 students spread across 250 universities. And the money they received from the university-related sales was used to develop Grammarly and add more features. But getting money was not the only benefit of this approach. These registered users also played a key role in developing the software itself. You see, the algorithm involved in correcting English grammar and spelling is rather complex. But Grammarly was able to develop this algorithm relatively easily as it focused heavily on user feedback. Grammarly's early product was a simple web app. You could copy-paste text into a web editor and hit the Start Review button. The product would highlight any mistakes in the text and provide a list of suggested writing improvements. And unlike Microsoft Word's spell checker, which only scanned for obvious spelling and grammar mistakes, Grammarly handled everything from contextual spelling to style. But one very important feature was that the tool allowed users to vote on the validity of the corrections that it suggested in their writing. And this feedback loop was crucial to help their algorithm learn all the rules of the English language and become more and more accurate. So by 2011, Grammarly was already successful. It was making good money, and its functionality was way higher than any other tool in the market. Where other startups start with a free version and hope to convert some of the free users to paid users, while also bleeding a lot of money in the process, Grammarly had adopted a diametrically different approach and made money instead. So in 2012, they decided to go outside universities and open to the general public. And they came out with a consumer plan that cost $11.99 per month along with a 7-day free trial period. And people went absolutely crazy over it. Grammarly was addressing a pain point that all professionals had, be it journalists, editors, lawyers, or technical writers, which was ensuring that their grammar was correct. Since Grammarly was already profitable and had money to spare on marketing, they were able to run successful marketing campaigns on social media, specifically Twitter and Facebook, which themselves were quite new at that time. And once a user saw these ads and signed up for their product, he was so blown away by its accuracy and utility that he immediately became a loyal customer. In fact, their marketing was so effective that Grammarly's Facebook page had reached 1 million followers by 2013. And in the same year, as a result of their effective marketing and excellent product, they were able to grow from 300,000 users to 3 million users. But the true growth for Grammarly came in 2015, when they decided to finally launch a freemium model of their product. They would offer a free version of Grammarly with limited features for free and compel users to sign up for the paid version to access the full list of features. And expanding their reach from being just a basic web app, they now launch an extension for Google Chrome as well, using which you could get suggestions and make corrections on any page or website using Google Chrome itself. And this was the absolute game changer. People went crazy over their browser extension and their user base grew like wildfire. And it was all from simple word-of-mouth marketing. You could now use Grammarly to correct anything, including emails, job applications, and other registrations, and that too for free. Grammarly had now managed to put their product at the place where people were actually doing the bulk of their writing throughout the day. The next year, in 2016, Grammarly capitalized on this and launched their extension for other browsers as well, including Firefox and Safari. The launch of this freemium model was the inflection point where Grammarly really took off. By 2017, they had increased their user base by almost 3 times to 8 million users. And that was when the founders finally decided, 8 years after launching, to get their first round of external funding when they raised $110 million. This was followed by another funding round in 2019 where they raised $90 million at $1 billion valuation. And then the third, latest round in 2021 when they raised another $200 million at a valuation of $13 billion. Grammarly used this money to upgrade their tool with a range of new features, with mobile keyboards launched in 2017, Tone Detector launched in 2019, the standalone Windows and Mac application launched in 2021, and finally, the heavy investment that they are currently making in artificial intelligence in an attempt to introduce generative AI assistants within their tool. As of 2024, Grammarly has more than 30 million daily active users. This means that more than 30 million people use Grammarly every single day to improve the quality of their content. If you made it this far, please share this video with one person who you know will find it interesting. And follow me on LinkedIn. The link is in the description below. Until I see you in the next video, goodbye.